Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Last class, we have discussed how to get internet access from LAN user to the internet server. Okay. So, to get internet access, there are multiple steps we have to complete. Step one, we have to complete the IP configuration. That is basic configuration. That means next is virtual router assignment, security zone create and security zone assignment. Then we have we are just doing mm, static routing and net. After completing those tasks, we are getting internet access from PC1 to the server 1. So today we discuss about internal and external services for account administration. Basically, what just we and discuss about user management, how to create user, how to assign role for a user, and how to create a different profile, and how to create a administrative user, read-only user. Okay. So first, see here, there are administrative role types. There are two types of administrative role. One is role based, and another is dynamic. Another is dynamic roles. Role based administrative types is very granular and it's very flexible, and you can assign any services, any specific application for those administrator very securely. And dynamic roles, there are multiple user that may be administrative user, that may be read-only user or unauthorized user. If you set any access for administrative user, this dynamic roles automatically update. So if you see here, let's see where is this one. 300. We go to enter. Okay. See here, I'm now in device section. In left column, you will get the administrators. There is a single administrator and the role is super user. The role is super user. If you just click the admin, you will get, you can change the administrative password here. And if you add some administrative user from here, okay, sorry. Just if you want to create a user, just go to the administrator section. First device, then administrator section. Just see here, admin user is already created and role is super user. Okay. So if you want to create another user, maybe user name is Raha. User name is Raha. So authentication, there is multiple option here. Then first one is authentication profile. Authentication profile here is none. No authentication profile is selected here. And there, if you just click here, then you will get the authentication profile. So authentication profile, there is multiple authentication profile. Okay. See here the local database, Radius, LDAP, TechX Plus, SAM, NAN, and Cables. So You can get it from here, or you can also take it from this section. This is the authentication profile. You can add authentication profile from here. You can set the authentication profile. Just you have radius server, or you have LDAP server, or TACX server. This Palo Alto firewall will be authenticated from the external server. Okay, this will be radius, this will be LDAP, and this will be TACX. Just if you select the packet server, then you have to set the name like TA tech ACS, then profile profile packets profile, then packets profile. So then you have to select the server profile. So set the server profile, then TACX profile. TACX profile. So you can create from here, you can set the server profile here, or you can also take from this one. You will see the server profile. Server profile, there are multiple options. If you have TACX external server or radius, you can create TACX server profile. Set the server profile name, check SRV profile 1. Administrator use only, as set the server setting, timeout, authentication protocol, and you have to set the packet server information. You have to set the packet server information. Okay. So packet server name, packet server IP, then secret, and the port. Packet server IP, then port. Just for demo, just add tag SRV1, then IP is like 10.10.10.10, secret. It's a demo, right? Demo like PA, secret PA @PALO ALTO Palo Alto PALO ALTO Palo Alto. You can set any name. I just set for demo, and default port is 49. This is the 3CP port. You can change, or you can take a default. So your server profile already created. Is the demo server. Then create. This is server profile, and go to the authentication profile, then create one. If you set here the packets, then server profile, you will get this server profile, which you already create, or which you already create now. User domain, user modifier, that means it's the username, only username, user input. You will get just TACX. See here how TACX is working. Consider this is the TACX server. If you want to log in this Palo Alto, first this user send the request to log in, send login request to Palo Alto. Palo Alto send the user request to server. Server verify the credential. This credential is authentic or not. If those are authenticated user credential, then confirm the server and Palo Alto permit the user access. Okay, this is the way out to access the Palo Alto device when external server is used for user authentication. So see here. So and authentication, you can set server profile, then this will be the default. And factors, you can enable additional authentication factors, or you can take it default. And allow list, you can allow a specific IP address, or you can allow all IP address. Okay, so this is the authentication profile. So select here all, and factors, take it default, and name authentication profile, authentication AUTS, authentication profile 1. This one for tech. Is the authentication profile for TechX. So go to the administrator, then create one user. Username is like Raha. Username is Raha. Authentication profile, you can set this authentication profile. Authentication profile tag. Use only client certificate authentication, that is web. This is only for web, or you can use this public authentication for SSH. That means you can assign for CLI access, or you can assign for web access. Okay, so just see here, use only client certificate authentication, that means web. See here, administrator type. Administrator type is two. One is dynamic, another one is role based. If you set dynamic, see here, multiple user administrator type is already created here. One is super user, another is super user but read only, device administrator, and device administrator read only. So there are default 4 category dynamic administrative type is already created. If you just create the administrative user, you will just select the super user, or you can select device administrator. If you just create the read-only user, you have to select the super user read-only. So I just create the administrative user, select the super user, and click OK. User is created.
Yeah,
For
what is the
web.
difference between super user and administrator role?
Yeah.
What is the role difference between super user and device administrator?
Could you repeat it? Hello. Could you
Hello.
repeat it?
Yeah, I want to know about the difference between super user and device administrator. Role difference between this.
Role difference. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So just cancel this one. So go to the admin roles. See here, audit admin, crypto admin, and the security admin. This is already created profile name, created profile name. You are just asking what is the difference between
Super user and device administrator.
super user and the device administrator. Super user and the device administrator. What is the difference? Okay. So see, go to the sheet. Dynamic roles. See here, just is the role base. See here, dynamic roles. Dynamic roles, there is a super user and another one is device administrator. So see here, super user, full access to the firewall, including defining new administrator accounts and virtual systems. You must have super user privilege to create an administrative user with super user privilege. That means super user will be all in one. Okay. And the device administrator, full access to all firewall settings except for defining new accounts for new accounts or virtual system. Device administrator have full access, but they don't make
Create
any
another
new
administrator.
accounts and new virtual system. This is the restriction for device administrator. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And another is, what is the virtual system administrator? Virtual system administrator means full access to selected virtual system on the firewall, available only firewall that support virtual system. But I see here, there is only two type. One is super user and the device administrator. There is no virtual administrator already created here. Oh, I skip this one. So super user and the device administrator. Okay, and this is the window I discussed with this one. So if you select here a role base, if you select a role base, you have to set the profile type. You have to set the profile type. Profile type already created profile type is audit admin, crypto admin, and security admin. These three profile already created, or you can create your profile as per your user requirement, as per your user requirement. Okay, so go to the admin roles and see here audit admin. See here audit admin. This is the default created admin roles, default created admin roles. This is for web UI, that means web interface. This is for XML API, and this for command line. This for command line. So for web UI, see here, dashboard and SSC is rejected for audit admin. Dashboard and SSC is rejected for audit admin, but monitor section, device section, see here, task, and the global section. Is the you can enable, just click for to enable this one, or you can disable. Red means disable, green means enable, and this is for read only. Just you select this one, that means enable. You select this one, that is enable. Monitor. In monitor section, you select the parent section monitor. If you want to um, disable the subsection, any subsection, you can disable from admin role profile. Okay, so it's completely customized. It's completely customized. You can create admin role as per your production requirement. When you create the user, and this task, or this section will be selected by the administrator. So see here, role-based profile types. Admin role profile. Admin role profile, this is the XML API. For XML API, this is for web, that means graphical user interface. This is the XML API. When you use the API or XML API, you can set this option to allow or deny the user. Command line and REST API. So if I create one role-based profile, if I want to create, these three are the default. These three are the default. If you want to create new one, just create this one. Name is admin role test. Admin role test. Just for this admin, you are just give a dashboard. SEC will be disabled. Monitor will be permitted, but monitor all permitted. Like policy is the multiple options. Okay, so I measure section, I just cover measure section, monitor, policy, object, network, device, privacy, and the save option, commit option, global option. This is the total option. Okay, so if you see this one, so see the section is device section. See here, device section. That means this is the device section. Network section, this is the network section. And object section is the object section. Policy is the policy section. And monitor is the monitor. SEC, this is the SEC, and this is the dashboard. Okay, these all are available here. Okay, if you want to restrict some menu from a specific user for a specific user, you can do this. Okay, additional item is this one. Additional item is this one. Number one is privacy, validate, save, commit, task, and global. Okay, so you just want to create user, all are permitted. You just make sure all are permitted. Policy, object, network, device, see here, administrators and admin roles. These two are read-only. These two are read-only. Only super user can do this. Only super user can do this. Other user will not change anything. Okay. So this is the difference. Super user and you just create a customized user based on role base. So see here the privacy, select all, save, commit, global. So you want to just block two options for this user. Number one is policy. Number one is policy, and another one is objects. You are just want to block or want to restrict policy and object. Other will be permitted. So this user can do anything in policy section, in object section, but they will work in network section, device section, and other section. Okay, or you can restrict device section like monitor, network section, device section. See here, config a authentication profile. They will not create the authentication profile. Then certificate management. They will not create the certificate management. Server profile. this like this. And for XML API access, you can permit those one. And if you want to give access for command line, just user accessing your firewall through the SSH or telnet, you can set this access: super user, super reader, device admin, and device reader. Okay, so I don't set any command line permission, just set here none for this admin profile role. So just okay, create the okay. See here, admin role created, admin role created. So go to the administrator, then create this user for role base. You can set your customize role based profile or admin roles. Admin role is admin role test. Okay. This user created, and this user admin role is admin role test. Okay. So we want to discuss administrative role types. Number one is role based, and number two is dynamic roles. So for role based, you want to select subsection. You want to select subsection to restrict a specific user. To restrict a specific user. Okay. You want to enable for permission. You want to disable for restrict or deny user access for the specific option. This is the role base. This is called the role base. And dynamic roles, this role already created. Dynamic roles means this role already created. You are just assigning this role. You are just assigning this role. That's it. Okay. So this is the difference between role-based and dynamic roles. That means administrative roles. So in that case, that means dynamic role is more easy to create a specific user. There is a very limited option to select. But if you want to customize user permission and a specific user, you can give a specific permission. So you have to select role-based option. You have to select role-based option. So this is the difference between role-based and dynamic roles. Are you listening? Is it clear?
Yes,
Dynamic roles
yes, clear.
and
Yes.
dynamic roles and
Clear way.
okay. So see here, dynamic, there is multiple created option. We already share with you super user and device administrator. And if you select the administrator authentication profile, if you you have to create the authentication profile. Authentication profile, it's depend on your external server or internal server. If you select the internal server for user authentication, you have to select the local database. If you want to authenticate user through the external server, you can select Radius, LDAP, and TechX Plus or others. But you have to deploy Radius server, LDAP server, and TechX server, and those information will be configured here. Okay, like Radius server IP, Radius server secret, that will be matched with your server. If this configuration message, your user credential will be authenticated through the external server, and your user will be configured based on your admin profile, based on your admin profile. So I also create here one authentication profile through the TACX server. So if you want to create authentication profile, for authentication profile, first you have to create the server profile. If you want to create like example TACX server profile, then select the name and TACX server information and authentication profiles, and you have to set your authentication profile, and the advanced option, you can select allow user or allow list. That means who is IP will be allowed for this authentication profile like this. Okay. Authentication sequence. Mhm. Authentication profile. So see here authentication profile. If you just select the authentication profile name, allow any username with any password. Any username password will be authenticated through your Palo Alto firewall. Okay. So see here authentication profile. So go to the authentication profile section. If you just create the authentication profile, and the type is default type is local database. If you just select the none option, this will not verify the user credential. Okay, this will not verify. If this you just create one single user in your device, you have no external server like TACX or Radius server, you have to set this one type should be local database. Type should be local database. This is the authentication profile. This is the another sample configuration for LDAP authentication. For LDAP authentication, they are just creating the LDAP server profile and attach this LDAP server profile to the authentication section. So LDAP server profile, see here, LDAP server, this is the two LDAP server, LDAP 1 and LDAP 2, and LDAP server others information. And if multiple authentication, if multiple authentication is added, or if multiple authentication is present in your network, like you have LDAP server, you have Radius server, you have TACX server. Okay, you have TACX server. So you can select who is one will be the first authentication profile, who is one will be the next authentication profile. If you have multiple option or multiple server, that is multiple external authentication server, you just create the authentication profile, and in authentication section, you can set which option will be authenticated first. If LDAP server is available, user credential will be authenticated through the LDAP server. If LDAP server is not present, then user will go to the Radius authentication server, or you can set here multiple. This is the authentication sequence. Authentication sequence. You can set here the authentication sequence. Authentication profile. Set your authentication is for authentication sequence. We have to create multiple authentication profile. Then that will be attached here, and you can up and down to set the sequence. Which one will be execute first, and then next. Okay. Administrator account password. Administrator account password, to ensure tighter security, you should enable minimum password complexity requirement. That means if you want to set the password complexity for administrative user or other user, you can select the password profile. You can select the password profile. So you can just select here password profile, PASS, password profile 1. Password profile 1. Required password sends period is days. Required password change period like 30 days or like 90 days. Okay. After 90 days, you have to change your password. Expiration warning period. Like you can send a warning before 7 days. Post expiration admin login count. Post expiration grace period. You can set here grace period 7 days. Login count, like how many login allowed after expiration, like 10 or like 1. So set here, this is your password profile, password profile. So, so in setup section, minimum password complexity. This is the password profile, and another option you will get like services, no services, management, and minimum password complexity. Minimum password complexity. If you want to select the minimum password complexity, like if you want to set the minimum password complexity, then you have to enable this one. Then password format requirement. Minimum length, you can set here minimum length, like example, minimum length will be 10. Minimum uppercase letter, how many uppercase letter will be in password? Like 1. Minimum lowercase letter, 1. Minimum numeric letters, 1. Minimum special characters, 1. Block repeated characters, So I use a 0, no need. Functionality requirement, new password differs by characters. Require fast change on first login. You have to change your password at first login. Prevent password reuse limit. Same password you will not use every time. You will not use every time. Okay. Block password change period. That's in the job. Record password change period. Expiration warning. Post expiration. This is the another similar option of password profile. Okay. So if you want to set the password complexity, enable this one and set the parameter which you want, or which parameter is fit for your organization or for your user. Okay, so I disable this one. Okay, is the password option. This is the minimum password complexity, and this is the password profile option. And your all configuration logs, you can get access your all configuration logs from here. See here, certificate server. Configuration, the monitoring section. Monitoring section, then logs. This is the configuration. This is the configuration changes. This is the timestamp when configuration changes. Who will do this configuration and which IP will use and how, which access, management access is used, web or CLI. Command, which type of command is the set command, and command is succeeded, and is the config management, config password complexity is the recent configuration. Okay, is the recent configuration. So every changes will be logged in your device. You can check anytime from here. Okay, or you can maybe set filter, or you can maybe export your this log in your local PC or in your remote device. So, this is the internal extra for account administrator section. We just finish configure internal and external services for account administrator. And second section is create appropriate security zone, how to create zone, and how to assign a interface to the zone. Okay, so in last class we create two zone and assign interface. So this is the interface type. So if I go to just for zone creation, just go to the zone section. See here, two zone already created in last class, LAN and WAN. If you want to create another zone like DMG zone, log setting, I setting here none, and type is layer 3. There are multiple interface type here. There is multiple interface type here. You can set here layer 3, you can set here layer 2. That means firewall interface will be work as a layer 2 switch. Like, and virtual wire is just you want to combine multiple interface as a logical interface. Tab interface, we use tab interface for collecting the flow traffic, collecting the flow traffic. We use the tab interface. So I select here layer 3. I can, this is the DMZ zone. See here, our interface is Ethernet 1x1 and Ethernet 1x2. So if you add any interface in DMZ zone, you can add from here. So see here, loopback tunnel and VLAN interface is available here. Okay, other interface will not see here. Or you can take it default. You can take it default. Just delete this one and create the zone. Zone created. Just you want to set one interface in DMZ zone. So for demo, I select the Ethernet 1x3. This interface will be in DMZ zone. So set here layer 3. You can set here layer 3. So click OK. And interface Ethernet 1x4. Default interface type is tab. I set here layer 3. So I set two interface in layer 3. So go to the zone, select the DMG. So add this one. See here, two interface already available here. Because the interface type I select here layer 3, but those interface is in tab interface. That's why this interface is not showing here. Now this showing here Ethernet 1x3 and Ethernet 1x4. You can select from here. Then enable packet buffer protection. You can select this one or not. This is not essential. So see here, your DMZ zone created with interfaces, Ethernet 1x3 and Ethernet 1x4. So how to set the interface in a specific type? You can set interface in a specific type which you want. Select from here. Or you can set, and another option is virtual router. Virtual router is, see here, Ethernet 1x1 and Ethernet 1x2. Only two interface is in virtual, that means default virtual router. There is no additional virtual router here. There is no additional virtual router here. If you want to create additional virtual router, you can set the name. Also, you can add this interface for the other virtual router. I will discuss regarding virtual router in later. Just I want to discuss about zone and interface. So if you set here, just go to interface, Ethernet 1x3. If you want to select the virtual router, so select from here is the default. This will be the default. By default, only single virtual router is available here. This name is default. This name is default. Every interface is in default router. Okay, every interface is in default router. But by default, the interface is not in the default router. By default, interface have no security zone assigned. So you have to select. So this is the option. If you want to create any zone, set the name, set the type, and which interface you want to include the specific zone. The interface type should be matched. If interface type is not matched, so in that case, this interface will not show here. Okay. So this is all about your zone configuration. So today we will discuss user information or user account information in device section. Just I review today's topics. Today we discuss administrative user. We can manage administrative user in two ways, and that is admin roles. Administrative user in two ways. That one is dynamic roles and another is role based. In dynamic roles, administrative access I have already defined, and there is four options is available there. One is superuser, another is device administrator. So if you want to create any user through the dynamic roles, so you have to select the super user or device administrator. So what is the difference? Super user and the device administrator. Only difference is super user can create the user credential and create the virtual system, but device administrator will not create those things. So, and role-based administrator is more scalable, and you can set every option, every sub option for your user. Which one you give permission to your user, and which you can restrict. This is the more appropriate option, I think. So, and for administrative user, you can set the authentication server. Your authentication server will be firewall itself. You have to select the local database. If you use the external server for authentication, you can create the authentication profile for external server. This server can be LDAP server or radius server, and you can set the authentication sequence from here. And if you want to set the external server, for external server, you can create the external server profile.
Yeah,
That means external server
authentication
profile
sequence.
information. Yeah.
The authentication sequence, what is the function about this?
Authentication sequence means just consider you have two external server for user authentication.
Such as LDAP
Think
radius.
TechX Plus and another one is Radius. Okay, and all user can authenticate through the TechX server and the Radius server. Okay, you select two server because if any event occurred, just based on a single point of failure, you are just consider your package server will goes down or your radius server will goes down. So if just you want to avoid single point of failure, for single point of failure, you just consider two server. One server is primary, another server is backup. So if primary server is down, your user can be authenticated from the secondary server. So you have multiple external server. You want to select which one will be authenticate first. Which one will be authenticate first. You can set here TechX server. You can set the TechX server. For this option, you can set the authentication sequence. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. So today we have complete password profile, administrator section, admin roles, authentication profile, and authentication sequence. And here the service profile. Okay. And in a monitoring section, we can get all configuration changes in log section in configuration. Log session in configuration. And last one is about zone. Last one is about zone. If you want to create the zone, just add and set the name and set the type and add the interface. This is the way how to create the zone, how to assign the interface in the zone. So this is the option, and also you can assign zone from the interface section. You can assign zone from the interface section. See here, DMG. So this is the two way you can set from zone section, or you can also just create the zone here and go to the interface section and just click the interface and set the zone. Which zone you want to give that specific interface. Okay, so this all about zone and interface. So today I think that's for all for today, and next day we will discuss I will complete this section, and this section create appropriate zone. Tomorrow we will discuss identify and configure firewall interfaces. There is multiple type here. Okay, multiple type interface, tap interface. So when we use tap interface, when you use virtual OR interface, or when you use layer 2 interface or sub interface. Okay, tomorrow we will discuss this section, identify and configure firewall interfaces. Okay.
Okay.
Allah Hafiz.